The best pilot of any MCU series thus far, and it's not close enough edge of seat energy with audible gasps throughout. Charlie and Vincent haven't lost a step. Benson Moorhead bring the sauce. Above all, it's episodic. We might be back. Charlie Cox was talking to Extra TV, said there's an event that's going to change Matt Murdock's life. He'll probably never be the same again. Welcome back to the Breakroom with the highly anticipated Daredevil Born Again coming out next week, and first reactions happening. We gotta go through all the updates, this Punisher special, and get into some final predictions. I'm Evan, and joining me today is Erik Voss.
Hi everybody, I'm so scared.
What are you scared for?
The fates of some people that I love on Daredevil Born Again.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to get into some prediction territory as well.
No.
And Brandon Barrick.
Oh, I smell too much crime in this city. That was my Daredevil.
He doesn't hear. You're Daredevil.
I smell the
Yeah.
crime.
Yeah, that's the
that's Always Sunny.
universe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a different multiverse Daredevil.
Yeah.
Smelling is really good.
Yeah, it smells great.
But he's a terrible cook.
Yeah.
He would be a bad cook.
Yeah. All right, so what is everyone's general hype level? I mean, we've heard about this show for a long time, and there's been a lot of creative restructuring and things behind the scenes that have gone very public, but also a lot of initial good reviews. How are you guys feeling about it a week out?
I'm excited for it. Today, Wednesday, when we're taping this, they put out Marvel put out a little clip thing with like great review blurbs in it, and also like some brutal violence, like a dude getting his arm snapped back, like slamming someone's head into the ground and blood coming out like crazy. And I'm just like, okay, I'm ready to see this like intense show. I'm very excited to see like Vincent D'Onofrio back as Kingpin again.
Yeah.
Charlie Cox back as like a very angry Matt Murdock. As long as there's not a storyline in this show where he can't access his powers, I will be okay. I think they relied on that too heavily every season on Netflix. Yeah. That's my biggest knock on the show when it was on Netflix, but I'm very excited to see where this goes.
Yeah.
For me, sky high. Like I am so pumped for this show, and I'll say that like over the past year, I was not really sure. Like I am excited for all these characters to come back, for this corner of the world to come back. I just I don't know if Marvel Studios has titally shown that they know what they're doing when it comes to like Disney Plus programming, and some titles have it, some titles don't. Some titles just are great at the start, don't really stick the landing. But we have not seen the first two episodes.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the press community have, and I was looking carefully at what was being said, and there's the folks that are normally like kind of hedging their bets or kind of carefully word what they say, or sometimes just outright shit on something out the gate. And even those folks are saying like, we're back. And I hate even saying Marvel's so back, because whatever, Marvel's still doing pretty good, but they're overwhelmed by how good this show looks. And I'm thinking about all the good things about the Netflix shows, from just how seriously the actors take it, from Vincent D'Onofrio's performance, the action, bringing back Phil Silvera to choreograph the stunts for this, the music. But setting this in a world that has all like the trappings and the assets that the MCU version of New York has. Yeah. When was the last time we were in New York in the MCU? Was it
Hawkeye? Probably.
Hawkeye, Spider-Man, No Way Home, and it feels like forever ago.
I guess Echo had a flashback. To New York.
Miss
We were in a factory or something.
Yeah, Miss Marvel across the Hudson.
Yeah.
But I love the MCU New York, and whenever I watched the Daredevil show on Netflix, I kept looking for Avengers Tower somewhere in the background, and now we're gonna see it. It might be Sentry's Watchtower, and it might not be the exact skyline we want to see, but we know this is firmly the MCU, and it gets to be the show that it always wanted to be and conceived to be, and I just feel like this is like fully the promise of 2014 realized.
Do you think at any point Mayor Fisk will be like, and I'm gonna do something about these webs hanging on all these buildings. Someone's got to clean these off.
I think they do reference a web slinger in it's like that was reported in some of these early reviews. Like they reference someone like that.
Yeah, I mean that's Beware the Dreads in the Twitch chat saying, since Sony won't let Spider-Man be in Disney Plus live action shows, do you think we'll get a Night Monkey appearance in Daredevil Born Again, since we don't know who that guy is?
I mean, it might be something like the X-Men animated series in the 90s where they just had like Spider-Man's hand appear together and shoot some webbing.
That's fun. The silhouette of one just like, shooting out. Yeah,
I mean, it would be incredible if there's like a Daily Bugle somewhere that someone picks up and it just says like photo credit Peter Parker.
Oh,
like that would blow my effing mind out of my
100%.
skull.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for the show. A lot of people in the chat are excited about the show. President Djibouti in the YouTube chat says cautiously optimistic, but gives a hype level 8.5. And Omar Lore sending in a super chat saying, I find it hard to care for Daredevil because of the low stakes regarding gangs in Hell's Kitchen and a world of aliens, witches, and multiverses. Am I crazy? I think that's a really interesting point. Sometimes when the stakes are always, you gotta save the world, that can be a little hard to care about, you know? Like when you have high stakes in every single thing, sometimes it is the exact opposite that lets you go, oh, okay, because there isn't so much pressure to save the world. There's a little bit more room to tell an interesting story here, you know?
Yeah. This guy just hates New York City and doesn't care.
I mean, I hate driving to New York City, you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't, because of the surge pricing.
Yeah,
no, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, I'm ready for some more like gritty, grounded stories where it's not the whole fate of the world is at stake. It's like these people in my neighborhood that I care about, the place where I live, the people I know, people I represent in court. Like I want to take care of them and protect them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm just excited for confidence in storytelling.
Right.
As much as I loved Agatha, how many of those scenes in those episodes were two characters who were like hiding things from each other, kind of speaking in code to each other, and very like unspecific language, and we had no idea what the scene was about.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, but do you know? I do know. Do you know? But before you, I know. And that's just the scene. And they're on a yellow soundstage. Like, it's just like that. And everything Disney Plus does seems to be like 60% that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just excited to be in a show that we know who they are. We know what they're saying to each other. We know what they're fighting for and fighting against. And we get to see it play out. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
100%. Well, speaking of some of these reactions from the press as well, like we said, they're very positive. Seems like a lot of people got to see at the premiere, got to see 2 episodes, the first 2 episodes. Screen Rant's Liam Crowley gave it a review. I wanted to highlight this line. He said, "We might be back." It was pretty fun there. Do we have that picture, Dashiell, the Screen Rant review?
Get him!
Yeah, there we go. The best pilot of any MCU series thus far, and it's not close enough edge of seat energy with audible gaps, oh my god, throughout. Charlie and Vincent haven't lost a step. Vincent and Moorhead bring the sauce. Above all, it's episodic. We might be back. I love that kind of poking fun at the, like, we are so back, we are not back. I love that meme, you know, of the hills and valleys. So we need one that's just like, we might be back. It's just a steady line.
That looked like a close-up photo of a Hot Toys or something. That didn't look
really?
like a real.
Let's look at it again. Oh, it does look like a Hot Toy.
It reminds me of that, wasn't that image of the 3 Peters pointing at each other? That was like actually action figures or something like that.
New Rockstars has definitely used like a Nick Fury in a thumbnail before, and I looked at it later. I'm like, that's a toy.
That's a toy model. I don't think that's a real, I don't know. Yeah. Hedge your bets, everybody.
Hedge your bets. And then we also got this from Fandango and Rotten Tomatoes' Eric Davis, critic. He compared it to the Penguin, saying in terms of a city in chaos and larger-than-life gangster to rule all. Similar vibes with the fights in Daredevil are already next level. This show might have some of the best brawls we've seen from the MCU. I'm instantly hooked and can't wait to see where it goes from here. Yeah, and like you said, Eric, like it does seem generally positive across the board and really like in favor of this show. So
yeah,
I mean, truly next Tuesday? Can't come fast.
I mean, even in the Echo series, when we had the flashback of Echo and Daredevil like fighting each other, that was fun again, just to see a little fisticuffs, right?
Yeah.
Like not relying on lasers and magic spells and stuff to do the fight, but a little just on the ground choreography that looks good.
Speaking of magic spells, I also want to ask you guys this question. Moriarty Vishon asked a question earlier. Can sorcerers and witches be placed in custody or on the raft? In custody in the raft?
I think so. Scarlet Witch was a sorceress. She was on the raft in Civil War.
She wasn't fully into her powers yet, right? And she was not into it. She didn't really know how it worked.
That's right. She was not yet the Scarlet Witch, but I think she was like enough to be a sorcerer. She could like implant thoughts and visions in Tony Stark's mind. She could do hand dancing and levitate things. Yeah, I think they have some version of like an inhibitor collar that kind of just dampens their powers.
That dampens magic? Oh, no.
Yeah. Also, Jessica Jones, there's a character right in the final season that ends up on the raft at some point, right?
Yeah,
Do you think we can see
her friend? Yeah.
Yeah, Trish. I think the name is.
God, I hope so.
She got hooked on drugs, dude.
That's the thing, though. Like, we started when we were breaking down the end of Captain America: Brave New World. We're like, who else is on the raft? And it's like Hellcat Trish and Will Stryker. Like, hell yeah! Like, if you watch those shows, it's interesting that they're there, but it's not like a who's who rogues gallery.
We've still seen more heroes on the raft than villains, I think, at this point.
Like, it would have make sense to put Abomination on the raft, but they just put him in some kind of desert facility in She-Hulk.
I think he's too strong for the raft. Zemo's on the raft.
Well, he doesn't like
been
swimming.
there. Yeah, he doesn't.
But the point of the raft is it's in a remote.
Yeah.
Like if Abomination gets off or any Hulk character gets off, can they swim real fast like Venom can in the 2018 movie?
We know.
Can Hulk swim?
Morbius can swim pretty fast. We saw him swim fast.
We need another thumbnail. It's Hulk, but it's 6 months, right?
6 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it needs to be a weekly series.
6 months.
Before we get to the rest of the video, we wanted to take a second to thank today's sponsors like Mando. I'm actually wearing Mando right now, and I gotta say, I'm still smelling good after recording for a very long time. Mando's whole body deodorant comes in 3 forms: invisible spray, solid stick, and invisible cream. It's clinically proven 72-hour odor control, so it's perfect for long days at the office when we're just talking and talking and talking here at the desk. Since using my Mando, my stink is on the brink, my funk has been debunked, and my stench is quenched. And this is coming from Berg, who has to smell me sometimes. Mando stops odor before it starts, and it's safe to use on your entire body, pits, package, feet, and everywhere in between. Mando comes in 4 cologne quality scents: Bourbon Leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and Clover Woods. I personally love the Bourbon Leather. A lot of people are like, this one is like, it's got leather in the name, but hey, it smells great. I highly recommend using Bourbon Leather. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code BREAKROOM. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code BREAKROOM at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. We also want to thank HelloFresh today, America's #1 meal kit. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. HelloFresh is a game changer, particularly after a long day of work when you don't have the energy to do all the shopping, the chopping, the cooking, and cleaning for a full meal. HelloFresh makes it easy to find time to eat well with 50 wholesome, hassle-free meals to choose from each week delivered to your door. There's over 100 add-on items you can add to your weekly box, like quick breakfast, packable snacks, and beverages, and more. Plus, for those nights when you're really in a rush, HelloFresh's new ready-made meals go from the fridge to your fork in 3 minutes. We've been using HelloFresh for ages now. One of my favorites is the udon stir fry with pulled pork and vegetables. So good. It's quicker, cheaper, and tastier than delivery. Also, the Southwest style chicken bowl is really good. The chicken is super moist, flavorful, and has just the right amount of kick. Get up to 10 free meals and a free high protein item for life at HelloFresh.com/HelloFreshPodcast. 1 item per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's up to 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/HelloFreshPodcast. Thanks again to HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit, for sponsoring our channel. So there's lots of people asking about cameos and things. I think we'll save that towards the end as we get into some of our prediction talk, because we've gotten a lot of news about the show and its future as the producers and cast take to the interview circuit. One notable thing is that season 2 of Daredevil Born Again will be coming out next year. Speaking to Screen Rant, Brad Winderbaum, Marvel Studios head of streaming, said season 2 will come out next year, and then hopefully season 3 and season Infinity after that. So not season 4, it's called season Infinity, right? I think this world is extremely rich, and there are many stories to be told on the streets of New York, end quote. And also in a now removed interview from comicbook.com, Brad Winderbaum seemed to hint that the Defenders would return as well. Matt and Wilson Wilson Fisk live and breathe in a world where these other Defender characters are walking around somewhere, so I think collisions are inevitable. So it does seem like, what is the likelihood, right, if they know they have a multi-season thing planned out, as we've long known, that we see some Defenders now in this first season? Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, I
don't know if we see all of them this season. I could see maybe like post-credit stinger where, like, at the end of episode 9, Jessica Jones or Luke Cage shows up. I don't think they're going to have a major role in this season. I mean, we would have known. They shot everything on the streets in New York. If they were going to be a big part of this season, we would have seen it the way that we saw, Jean Bernthal. So I think we maybe get a tease of them in some form.
Yeah, they'd be talking in a room somewhere they could shoot that and keep it, like, isolated and not have...
There's just a scene that paparazzi are taking pictures of. They're like, why is he just yelling at someone in the street? The other shot of it is just green screen that they'll, like, later add in. He's just like, why is he showing to nobody?
They bring in Sean Gunn in a green suit. They'll replace it with a character.
And he crouches around and does this.
How tall's my character?
I think that's where you go in Season Infinity. You just bring in these other characters. But there's other characters that you could populate this world with that were not in the Netflix era of these shows. Like, there's all kinds of just, like, New Yorkers. Like, this is, maybe you could do, if you don't want to move forward with the Young Avengers show, you could do a season that has Kamala Khan and Kate Bishop.
Oh, 100%.
We also, the season 2 that they have planned, I assume some of that is the original, like, 18 episode season 1 that got split in half when they brought in the new showrunner, who added like 3 episodes, I think, to kind of fix the story with what they already had to make it make sense and to tie in all the Netflix stuff. So I don't know how much of season 2 is going to deviate from what they originally had planned. Maybe in, like, season 3, that's when they get into a bigger story. They also haven't shot season 2 yet. I think they were saying production on that was going to begin right now.
They're already in New York for the premiere, right?
Get to work. Get to work.
Back.
I think what's his face, D'Onofrio, at one of the red carpets says, we're calling it, Daredevil season 5. I mean season 4. And I think it's because he said that because they're shooting season 5 right now of it. I think there's more that could be explored here. It just depends, how hard they want to break this world in these next, 2 seasons. Also, do you guys think we'll see the seams? Like, or is it going to be like some 6 of the episodes? His beard is one length, and then randomly episode 7, it's like longer, and then there's like a different, political sign in the background that they forgot to remove,
or like two characters talking to each other, but they're never in the same shot. It feels like they swapped in like another character.
That's a good question. It does. Yeah, it will be interesting to see if. Based on just early reactions being so positive that, like, if episodes like 3 through 5 that's where the patchwork starts beginning. I am curious to know how much they used.
There's going to be a scene where, like, Vanessa randomly is accidentally Sandrine Holt and they forgot to take her out. Like, oh, they left that shot in. Another scene where Karen Page is played by a mop or something. Like, we couldn't get Deborah on set that day. Get the mop.
I imagine these first 2 episodes are newer ones, right?
Yeah.
These are probably the
You're right.
to fix
it's probably 1 and 2, and then the middle 6 are the original
final.
And the final one.
It's like an added episode.
Oh, God, I wonder, I mean, but, some of the intrigue is just kind of like, we saw that cameo of Kamala Khan's dad there, It's like, could there be these court-level interactions or court drama things? Could that be the way other characters tie in a little bit easier, Yeah,
kind of like what She-Hulk was trying to be.
Yeah.
Kind of a case of the week, Boston Legal sort of thing. I prefer Daredevil arc where it's like a season-long trial. I really loved in season 2 where it almost felt like the trial of Frank Castle or the People versus Castle, Like, there is, they only did that for like 4 episodes or so, but I think you can make, that was originally what She-Hulk was considered being. It was just going to be a season-long Abomination trial. But if you're trying to get like multiple seasons out of this, you could totally expand it that way.
Yeah, and I like what you said earlier too about bringing in like Kamala Khan as a kind of like, that's like a team up or like a more regular character. Like, if we get more Defenders or we get more cameos like that, that become reoccurring roles, like, Kate Bishop as well, as I feel like is on the table, could future seasons of Daredevil Born Again see these people just being regular characters? It's not just like a 1 episode thing. It is like they're fully in it. And it's still called Daredevil Born Again. It doesn't have to be called Defenders, New Defenders or whatever.
Yeah, how long do they keep the Born Again title?
I bet they drop it. I bet for the next season they call it something
even for
else.
season 2 it's not called Born Again?
Yeah, they call it something else.
Oh.
Although, do they have to pay them differently? Like, when you register a show with a copyright office, it has to be the name that it is?
I feel like it must be, right? Yeah. And also Daredevil season 2, Daredevil Terrible Twos.
Are you pitching a title?
Yeah, instead of Born Again. Born Again,
I don't
Terrible
like
Twos.
it more.
I wonder how like FX produce like American Horror Story because each one of those had a different.
That's considered like a limited series, I think.
Yeah, but like, can't they just say, "Just kidding, it was a limited series," and then now we do another limited series and another limited series?
I believe it's always like American Horror Story Covenant or like American Horror Story.
You had Coven, you had Asylum, you had Hotel, you had
So it has a different title.
It is an anthology, but they do kind of connect some of them, right? No, I guess the same actors.
There are,
some actor. For our American Horror Story coverage, check out the Breakroom After Dark.
Brian Murphy, call in.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of called itself Agents of Hydra at one point. That might have just been like an in-universe thing rather than like the actual listing on that lower third that you see in 1998.
Yeah, I mean, my college called itself the Ron Burgundy School of Communications for a day, and nothing changed for me, so...
Sorry.
But it would have sucked to be like, I go to the Ron Burgundy School of Communications.
They changed IHOP to IHOB for a little bit. Remember that PR stunt?
I hobble out of there after eating a moon's over my hammy. Wait, that's Denny's. R.I.P.
Trevor's...
I get a Denny's takeout and take it to IHOP.
Yeah.
One water, please.
The vibes are just better here. You know, IHOP is a wheel you can spin. Like, they got a little roulette wheel thing you can spin. You get, like discounts and stuff like that.
What are you doing?
Yeah, California Pizza Kitchen has one, too. If you know... Actually, this is very important to me. If you are going to chain restaurants in America or elsewhere, and they have a roulette wheel you can spin as a member of the restaurant, please leave a comment.
As a member of the restaurant?
Yeah, you sign up for the membership points.
What are you talking about?
I've never seen the
I went
wheel.
to IHOP one day before work, and I was paying... and I was looking.
I can't believe you spent $20+ on breakfast before work.
No, it's a deal. It was a deal. So I was paying, and I see this roulette wheel, and I asked the cashier, I said, when do you get to spin the wheel? And she was so excited about the wheel. She was like, actually, if you sign up right now, you can spin the wheel and you get discounts. And it wasn't a hard sell. She wasn't like selling me on it because it was like an incentive. She was genuinely excited to see a person at, what was it, 9:30, spin the wheel in front of her.
How late Evan's rolling into work.
That's why Evan came into the office one day just going like, man.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if a roulette wheel, you have to have the little ball, right? That's not like one of those like...
No, it's like
that wheel. Not, yeah.
I understand. Do we call those a roulette?
What do you call it?
Yeah. A prize wheel.
Wheel of Fortune vertical?
Well, you call it a roulette wheel vertical. No, roulette's got to have the little ball.
I don't know.
Roulette's a whole game.
Roulette is a whole game. And, you know, an interesting game that Disney is playing is that we're getting special presentations again.
Yeah.
Man, the pivots.
A Punisher special, I think, is actually very surprising. The exact quote from Entertainment Weekly, Punisher will also headline his own Marvel special in the vein of Werewolf by Night or Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Jon Bernthal will be co-writing this Punisher special with its director, Reynaldo Marcus Green, whose previous credits include King Richard and Bob Marley One Love, but the two previously worked together on the series We Own This City. Who would have thought when not to put money on a Punisher special presentation being the next special presentation we get, but do you guys think it's going to be a capital SP special presentation or like something else?
I think it is, and it makes the most sense because they have Bernthal on set. You've got all your elements that you're using for Daredevil series. You can reuse sets, you can reuse extra, whatever you need to do. Like that, those are their best. That's how they did the Guardian special presentation. Like the Werewolf by Night was a standalone thing, but that was like a bottle episode, right?
Yeah.
It's a couple of sets that they're reusing for that one special. So this makes a ton of sense. And I like this idea. I think you can do a fun little gritty, almost 2-hour special if you want to, about one little story for Frank Castle. I think it's a smart idea. I'm excited for it. And We Own This City was great, especially the way he would say, "We own this city."
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen it, actually.
It kind of felt like a sister series to The Wire, right? It was kind of also set in Baltimore. It was also based on like a true story. Jon Bernthal's great. It was a great little series. And when they were kind of announcing the dude's credits and they're like King Richard and you're like Bob Marley One Love, it's like what? It's like oh, he also did We Own This City. It's like
there we go. Yeah,
where Jon Bernthal played a great crooked cop on that show.
Got it.
Really good. Recommend it.
Yeah.
Recommend it.
What do you think, Eric?
I think this is obviously I'll watch anything John Bernthal's in, and I think this is like I'm just glad that they're keeping the special presentation format alive.
Right.
Like,
I was afraid we'd never see it again.
Yeah, I thought it was like a one and done thing, and I don't know how it makes sense as a programming business plan.
No.
You know, like obviously on television networks in the 70s and 80s, they did it as a way to like just kind of get people to their TVs on Saturday nights. And you got to fill the slate with something. But obviously TV networks don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, and so as like a nostalgic charm, it's kind of nice. I don't know how it makes sense as like a streaming programming strategy, but hey, I'll watch it. I'm here for it. I just don't know, like we've talked about, like what are the different benefits of special presentations? Just to spend a bit more time with someone or a group of people that we love, or to introduce new things, or to just do something very tonally different from the rest of the world. And you know, Werewolf by Night was tonally different from the rest of the world. Guardians of the Galaxy was just kind of a cost-effective thing. So this kind of feels more like the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Yeah, it's like you're doing a longer episode of television, right? You're making a movie, but I think in this world where streaming movies have this caveat of like they're not as good, they won't put in theaters, or it's just a weird little cash grab, or it's, you know, it always feels weird if like you're not willing to put your streaming movie in a movie theater. Why wasn't good enough to go into a movie theater? Because you're saying that an audience isn't willing to spend $22 to go watch it, right? It's only worthy as like extra content for your streaming service. This is like a great way for Marvel to do like how much do you think this would cost? Like 25 million, 40 million, something around
not
there?
even that. I think just, or actually maybe
because if Marvel was like, hey, we're putting out a movie, it's a Punisher movie and it costs $40 million, you'd be like, what? This is crap. Why are they doing this? This is awful. But if they do a special presentation, you know, it seems to make more sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, we might be about to get Sergeant Rock on the DC side, so it's the same thing, right?
Yeah. I don't know what their numbers are. I don't know how much money they make from, like, if they can say that this number of people subscribe to Disney Plus, and if it has to be like they stay subscribed for 6 months in order for it to have been worth it.
Yeah.
Or if they just have some kind of algorithm for how they measure watch time on their content, and that factors into like money made for them. I just don't know how many people are going to now subscribe to Disney Plus. But I do think this is a pretty smart prelude for season 2. If they are going to be doubling down on the Daredevil as like a major pillar of their Disney Plus brand, I think this is a smart move.
I only subscribe to Disney Plus for 2 things: Wally and Punisher. That's it.
It would be absolutely wild that if Disney Plus were to release some of their top viewing numbers, that the Punisher series for some reason jumped to the top, and that's why they were like, oh, okay, if we're gonna do a special presentation, forget this Nova guy. Let's get the Punisher in.
I mean, I bet somewhere like Winterbomb is like, look at our numbers right now. You can watch seasons of Daredevil through Disney Plus now, and I bet they're like, numbers are really good on this. We gotta do this.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so before we get to some of our final predictions and some chat questions about cameos and things like that, let's take a look at the latest clip released today for Daredevil. I'm sure we're going to get more throughout the next coming days, but this one is like feels like a nice blend of old stuff, new stuff.
A little bit of blue stuff.
Yeah.
Bluey?
All right, Dashiell, put the clip.
Oh my God.
Oh, thank God he's at his best.
The smile at the end. Oh my God. Incredible.
Have they said if they're using the same theme music? Do you think they'll use the same theme music for Netflix? Do they own that now?
I think that there was like
we own this music.
I think that there is like a track that they're like attributing to the Netflix.
Okay.
Just
they're gonna like sample it a little bit.
Yeah, 100%.
And then Daredevil's gonna rap over it, right? Like,
yeah.
This ain't the show that you're used to. I'm a new Daredevil, and I've been used to. I got blipped. No, I didn't. I was here. I forgot. I fought Echo, and that was a lot. But now I'm back, and I own this city. John Bernthal's here as the Punisher. It's the Daredevil rap. Put your hands up. Close your eyes. It's the Daredevil rap.
That is the big difference between this and the Netflix series is that actor John Bernthal is now the Punisher and not Frank Castle. Frank Castle died, and it's John Bernthal.
Have you ever watched this podcast? He's intense on it.
Yeah, he is.
I would believe he is the Punisher.
Yeah, I think he just wants that to be his brand now.
Right. I think so. All right. So, lots of people asking about different cameos we could get. Dominic Perillo on YouTube asking earlier, will Moon Knight possibly get an appearance in Daredevil Born Again within the show's lifetime? Within the show's lifetime. Remember, we're going to season infinity.
Yeah, I think eventually, probabilistically, he will have to appear in order to have someone in that show.
Okay, let's say Moon Knight appears. Which Moon Knight is it? Like, which personality?
Jake Lockley, Stephen Graham.
I mean, Jake Lockley would make the most sense, right? Like a murderous dude going around shooting people in limos.
Yeah. I mean, or inversely, like Stephen Grant, like is now a curator at the New York
at the Met,
you know, and he has to.
Okay, let's say you're interviewing Stephen Grant. You call the museum in London, and you're like, "Hey, I've got this guy here. He worked at your place. What should I hire this guy?" If you're the museum in London, you say no, right? Can you legally say no? Don't hire that guy? Or say, look, you're welcome to hire him. It's totally fine. But I will say, while he was at our museum, a wild dog got inside and attacked a lot of the artifacts. I'm not saying it was his fault.
He's not the security guard.
He's not the security guard, okay? I'll just say that. He missed a lot of meetings. He
kept calling his mom. His mom was dead.
We didn't want to say anything. His mom was dead, but she was a bit of a bitch. She was kind of awful. From what I hear. You didn't hear it from me? Chip, chip, cheerio. Why are you calling me? It's the middle of the night.
Comedian Koi saying Matt Murdock needs to defend Khonshu in court.
Yeah, did we get Amit on this show?
Is he voiced by a new person?
Oh, maybe.
Amit?
No, yeah. Khonshu, but...
Khonshu would be voiced by a new person.
Yeah.
Amit, yes.
Amit, that could be fun. Show. Yeah. Why not?
I guess, Moon Knight is normally a New York-based guy, right? He's not a London-based guy.
Maybe. I haven't read as much Moon Knight.
Yeah, I think... Is it a fictional city that he's in? He kind of like has this little like in the current run. He has this like little like neighborhood that he actually. Oh no, I think it might be in Hell's Kitchen. Hey, correct us in the comments. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to be.
If they want to do a Midnight Suns, I mean, a great way to like soft test it would be, have Moon Knight show up in like the Daredevil series. If a future season is looking for a more like supernatural villain for Daredevil, it could be fun to bring in Moon Knight to that. Yeah, that could be a lot of fun.
Mr. Blobtown asking, he asked this earlier, and I will ask this, I think it's a little unrelated, but when we see Kit Harington's Black Knight, maybe that's even how he gets Cersei. Hey, I think, listen, it would be great to pick that storyline back up. Would be wild to do that in this show, that they've been like, we're trying to keep this not super connected.
What's more likely, though, an Eternals 2 or like just having Jake Lockley show, or Kit Harington, Dane Whitman show up in New York for some reason with a sword?
I mean, we also, Tony Dalton is coming back as the swordsman.
Yeah.
Huge.
Get all the swordsmen together.
Yeah.
Why is Tony Dalton in this show?
I'm excited. I love Tony Dalton.
I love that actor.
I wish they didn't spoil it. I wish they didn't spoil it. That was
now this whole season we're waiting for Tony Dalton.
Yeah, we're just waiting for
it. Doesn't make like the rest of the season doesn't matter because we're just waiting for this cameo.
It's because he needed to go to the red carpet, and they asked him like, "Are you willing to not go to the red carpet so people don't?"
Do you think he'll say something to him?
I want to be there. I don't want the Liefeld treatment.
Do you think he'll
Isn't it crazy that Rob Liefeld and Bo DeMayo are just like forged this weird unholy alliance of someone who is rightfully fired and another person who just didn't get an invite to an after party, and now they're teaming up to be like, let's bring down Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige. What a couple of assholes.
It's a real Legion of Woof.
Legion of Wolf.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Real Legion of Wolf. I do hope that the swordsman is like late for a meeting with Matt Murdock. Yeah. And he's like, sorry, I was just getting back. I've seen my lady. She's in prison right now. Want to stop by and say hey.
Alicia VP asking, do we see Finesse? Finesse just appeared in, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, Jean Foucault. Does she get recruited by Kate Bishop?
No, absolutely not. Next question.
Shri says, could they hypothetically show Black Cat? That's interesting, rights-wise.
I think that's in the Sony 900 characters that we own bucket. I don't think you can do Black Cat. No, because that's too related to Spider-Man.
Right. I think any like Spider-Man or Spider-Man related character, whether that's J. Jonah Jameson or Eddie Brock or Felicia Hardy, you're not gonna see.
It would have to be a character that has had like as much time on the Avengers or with the Fantastic Four or something like that.
Yeah.
It can't be someone who's like solely with Spider-Man.
Yeah. Right. Some questions about the Punisher special as well. H Basso 13 was asking, with the Punisher special, does that mean we only get a bit of Punisher this season and next season is full Punisher, or possibly every Daredevil Born Again is another member of the Defenders? Yeah. How heavy of a role do we think Frank Castle has in this season? And does the fact that we will get a special impact that at all? You know?
I think it's a small amount.
You think it's just that scene they've been showing?
I think
of
it's
them,
like
talking?
that scene. I think he's in like episode 2, and then he'll be in episode 9.
Because they brought he's
Yeah.
part of the 3 episodes they added.
Oh.
He was part of the later shoots.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay.
I don't
that
think
makes sense.
Bernthal was in the original version of the show.
But I mean, we know that Deborah and Wool and Foggy weren't either.
Yeah.
Karen and Foggy. But I imagine they're in more than just 3 episodes. Well, maybe
they might.
maybe not Foggy.
We'll get to
You don't
that
think
too.
Karen? You don't think Karen shows up in more episodes?
1, 2, and 9. I bet it's just 1, 2, and 9.
Wow.
Okay. I think they fit. I think they fit her into more of the show.
Yeah.
Oh, they shot extra scenes.
Yeah,
and
because
sprinkled them.
they had to add 3 episodes, but they weren't finished shooting the whole show or anything like that.
like olives on a foot-long sub,
yeah.
you know?
Like olives on a foot-long sub. Cellar door.
It'll all be off screen where Matt's like, right, Karen? And it's just Karen looking up from a desk going, right.
Right, yeah. Very poorly green
Yeah,
screen.
yeah.
She's soft lit.
Just a vertically shot from her car. Like, yes! I'm on my way, Matt!
Oh boy. Mr. Minute sending in a super chat earlier to say, who would be the villain in the Punisher special? Society. Next question.
The viewers.
I mean, crooked
are the
cops,
villain.
right?
Yeah.
Crooked cops?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to know what the overlap would be of character-wise, who he would be tackling, but it doesn't seem like it'd be.
I think
it would be cool if they somehow did broker the rights to maybe like a Spider-Man gang leader or gang affiliated member or something, but would be hard.
I think Val will recruit the Punisher to hunt down Gaia. And he'll be like, man, this lady's strong. And then a little Drax arm, boom, and it bounces right off. You know what I mean?
I wonder if it's the owl from the 30 Rock Christmas tree who ate the shrunken down tracksuit guys. And it'll be like a staircase villain of an owl who is haunting poor Frank Castle. Like the Raven in the Raven poem, quoth the owl, hoot, hoot, your family's dead. And it'll go crazy.
I hate people. Do you think that owl coughed up pellets that were then taken to a school for students to dissect to put together the mouse skeleton? And like as students put it together, it's like, teacher, I got 3 human skeletons in my pellet. What do I do?
I'm screaming.
What do I do? Also, this tiny little tracksuit. What do I do? Did you have to do that in school?
Yeah.
No, and what do you mean pellets?
So owls, they can digest everything, but they can't digest the bones. They swallow like a rat whole or a vole is what we found in ours. And they'll cough up a pellet that is like hair, fur, bones.
Yeah.
So how big of a pellet are we talking?
It's like it looks like a turd.
Like
you know what I mean?
half the size of your phone.
Yeah.
half the size of my phone.
It comes out as like a
hot
big
dog
hair-
or hamburger.
Hot dog.
Okay, so like this. So it's like a weird long.
No,
pellet?
like half there, half give me a fourth of that.
a
phone. You know what I mean?
fourth of my phone.
Yeah, so it coughs up this like hair pellet, and you're talking a big owl. We're talking like a barn owl. We're talking like a
Oh, and
Screech
a
owl.
8.3
a
rat
great
owl.
horned owl, right?
Yeah.
It's like this little pellet, and you take it apart, and you find all the little bones, and you have like a little chart, and you put the bones.
Try to figure out,
where they
That's
go.
wild. I wish I went to your school.
Yeah.
Austin and Burton sending in a super chat saying, does he wear the black and red suit? Yes, we've seen Daredevil with lots of different suits. Trailers, we've seen him in a red and black suit, but maybe not black and red.
We've seen
with
his little like
mask.
setup of masks,
Yeah.
like a little collector boy.
I think it will be right. Maybe this like different eras of his Daredevil career. So to speak, right?
Because it sounds like we're getting flashbacks to whatever.
Yeah.
Because the description I've read is like he's kind of hung up the batons for now because he went too far at one point. I assume during the blip or something like that, and he's kind of not been vigilanteing as much. Though the stuff in She-Hulk, that's post-blip, so I guess he got back into the
Yeah,
game.
he definitely got back into it.
But
do we think that shot from the trailer could be Dex's collection of
Oh, that's
Daredevil
a
costumes?
good point.
Yeah,
Because, I
great
mean,
point.
he's, he likes to cosplay in Disney Bound as Daredevil. So I don't know why Matt would need to have multiple versions of the outfit, but Dex, I can imagine.
I mean, we know Matt does have multiple versions.
Yeah, he at least has the red and gold and then this new all red suit.
But even in the original series, doesn't he get like an upgraded
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not
he
like
goes
he
from,
keeps
like,
them
the-
all together and
Well,
like
but-
this
yeah.
one today or the old one.
He's an MCU man now. He's not a Netflix boy anymore.
Yeah. He said, I'm tired of this mask. It keeps making a ta-dum sound in my ears. Okay, as we get into final predictions here.
Well, I was thinking, should I make a Kevin Spacey joke there?
Oh, no.
Well, it's like, you know, that's where they got it from House of Cards. Where he goes,
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Oh,
they
interesting.
loved House of Cards in 2015.
I mean,
Oh,
hey,
no one knew. We didn't know. Well, some people.
the algorithm, but they were
rap
like,
though.
the algorithm worked. It worked. You know, we took a chance. The algorithm said at the time, people liked Kevin Spacey and they liked political dramas. And what if we put the two together? Wouldn't that be crazy? And then it worked. Why?
It did.
Algorithms. At the beginning of this season, said Matt Murdock via Extra TV, there's a very traumatic event which is going to change Charlie Cox.
Oh, I was hoping Matt Murdock spoke to Extra TV.
Yeah, Charlie, he puts the mask on, he's a different guy. Charlie Cox was talking to Extra TV, said there's an event that's going to change Matt Murdock's life. He'll probably never be the same again. Charlie Cox went on to say, I'm still not convinced it's the right thing to do, but we have to come back big and bold. You know we've got to make a statement after all these years away, and what it does do is a wonderful catalyst for the rest of the story, and directors/EPs Benson and Moorhead also talk about this. There's this thing that's going to happen that's going to upset a lot of people. It upset us too. When we signed on to the job, the decision had already been made.
It's not our fault.
And with news from Deborah Ann Wool herself saying she'll be in season 2, I mean, Foggy's a goner, right?
Yeah.
Right?
It's either the death of Foggy or Matt's just really put off by President Ritson saying such mean things about aliens.
Yeah.
Secret Invasion really freaked him out.
Yeah, it really freaked
It
me
could be
out.
full frontal.
Ooh, full frontal.
Oh.
Just-
Benson and Moorhead were like, we didn't want to shoot it, but
The decision had been made.
yeah. Charlie Cox was like, I heard Patrick Schwarzenegger showing Dong on White Lotus, so I want to do it on my Daredevil show.
Yeah.
Welcome to Disney Plus. And that's just what it is.
That's what it
This
is.
Daredevil's got 3 batons.
Yeah, fine. Like, okay, I don't know. I haven't seen the show, but it's
But like, what's the most traumatic thing they could do, right?
it's probably
Yeah.
that.
I mean, that or,
Is Matt Murdock / Daredevil going too far and like killing someone?
Enough,
is that the
right?
trauma? Is that what they're talking about?
does he accidentally kill a kid or get a kid killed? Maybe that's it.
Kill the kid.
Yeah.
God.
I mean, there's that video that Jessica sent us of this guy dressed up as Daredevil where he fights his
Wait, it playfully fights. the
Playfully, it's
children.
his own
not-
children.
it-
He's teaching people martial arts. It's not.
Well,
even
you
really
can pay
fighting.
money and he'll fight your kid, but other than that,
In the title, it says beating up children. So I don't know. Like,
you shot it 6 years ago. The world was different.
yeah, it was different.
Red was this on? I didn't.
You were there.
Did she not show me this because I have a kid now?
No, it was on the thread. What are you talking about? Yeah, because I don't know. I haven't read every Daredevil comic. I don't know. Has he killed in the comics before?
That's kind of the line he doesn't
either
cross a little bit.
accidentally.
I haven't read every Daredevil.
I
Yeah.
mean, most heroes don't want to kill people. That's like the
Right.
whole point.
Yeah.
They have that. So that could be it. But it does feel like Foggy's going to die.
Yeah, and then I mean that helps in the kind of like if they were added and they're only in for a certain amount of episodes, that obviously helps like that
Right.
case scenario. If one of these kind of key characters were to die, obviously Deborah Ann Wool's Karen Page doesn't seem like it's going to be. Like, would it be too like cringy or like to use their like character as like flashbacks or something, or not flash, but like a dream-like presence, in order to keep like their presence and the actor
Or like a ghost that he talks to.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
Ghost Foggy?
Ghost Foggy, you know what I mean?
Oh, I love that. In season 3, we kind of got like a hallucination of Fisk.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so if Matt just like hallucinates Foggy talking to him,
Oh my
it could be
God.
fun.
Yeah.
The Foggy Fog.
The foggy fog, yeah.
Maybe Matt Murdock leaves the Catholic Church and like goes Episcopal or something like that. It's really traumatic for him.
Oh my God. Maybe Father Lantum gets dug up from the earth and something horrible happens to his corpse.
Maybe Matt's not able to access his powers anymore because he's got too much blood in his ears or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got to be something like that.
Maybe
Or-
the pit under Midland Circle just reopens and swallows up a block of the city. And the void
yeah, the
creeps
void
out
creeps
of it.
Ooh, okay.
Or he spends an hour in The Pit, the HBO show, and he's like, real people got to do this, and I'm just out here beating up people. This is wild. I should
It's
change
true.
my
You
life."
guys do need more nurses.
Yeah.
I've got to go. What am I doing in Pittsburgh? Maybe he attacks Vanessa. Would that be like a bridge too far?
Oh,
Like he goes and
interesting.
beats up
Yeah.
Wilson Fisk's wife. Matt Murdock beating on a defenseless woman. That's
Well, I
pretty
mean,
traumatic.
like he could, yeah. It's like he's going, and there's like maybe there's other security guards, and she gets in the way or something, and he doesn't. He's just like caught up in like fighting. He doesn't realize.
It's got to be Foggy's dead, or he kills a person,
Yes, yeah, or
he
just,
kills Foggy.
or he kills Foggy, yeah, or he lets someone go that then kills somebody, right? I mean, him killing Foggy would be bad though. Yeah.
That would be bad.
Yeah, he's like,
They
"Oh."
said it was bad.
Yeah.
They didn't want to take credit for
Well,
it.
hopefully, I mean, that event has to be in these first 2 episodes,
Yeah.
right? I mean, this is the premiere, it's the catalyst, so, you know, we're less than a week away of finding out what exactly that is going to be. Let's see, this was an interesting question too. Will we ever get a Spotlight again, Marvel Spotlight as Shri? Maybe an Iron Fist one before all the Defenders return. So Spotlight, maybe special presentation, these things may be interchangeable, maybe not. We have no idea anymore. Studio banners mean nothing. Titles mean nothing. Who knows?
I'm worried we will never see another Spotlight.
Talk to Jessica about this. Because we have talked about this on the sneak peek. If they never do Spotlight again,
dirty.
those dirty dogs.
You don't think these episodes open with Marvel Spotlight?
These episodes of Daredevil? No.
They
it's Marvel
want
Television.
Capital Marvel Television all over this.
I think they
Right.
just said, oh, it's a new category of things, but really they just dumped Echo under it.
Totally.
And if they never do it again, it'll be
rotten.
transparent that they just downgraded
That's a
Echo.
Brad
That's
Winderbaum
not
right
nice.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Brad Winderbaum. Yes. Yes, indeed, Brandon.
Make another Spotlight. Show us it was important.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah, truly.
I mean, I guess if Punisher was going to be not a special presentation in like 4 episodes, and you binge dropped it, you could call that a Spotlight. But it doesn't. With them having no plans to do another Spotlight, like it's just weird. It is so weird.
It's like the only thing that defines the Spotlight is you don't need to watch this.
And we released it all at once.
Why would you ever do that?
Yeah.
Just call it Marvel Television. Why didn't they call it Marvel Television?
Yeah, truly. And it's also like the same way that the Andor trailer released and was like, everybody loved this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the inverse of that, but like the same energy. All right. Any predictions, any hopes that you guys have for this season of Daredevil Born Again? We had an earlier question asked if Daredevil will join the Avengers. I certainly think he'll be in either Secret Wars or Doomsday, but I think having an Avengers cameo in this might be really fun, whatever that means for an Avengers cameo. But I think it's unnecessary. I think they should keep it focused on Daredevil, his adventures, his time in New York City as he's like balancing his 2 identities, and what it means now to be in this kind of like you were saying earlier, Eric, like this MCU proper world, you know?
Yeah. Like, I kind of feel like it'd be fun just to emphasize New York as the playground. In the MCU.
Great. Yeah.
And then if you just divide it geographically, you can have West Coast Avengers and New York Avengers, you know, or New York Defenders. I just want to get to know New York City as like what Gotham is in DC. Like, I want to know other boroughs outside of New York. And these Netflix shows kind of did that.
Yeah.
We got to know Harlem. You know, we got to know Hell's Kitchen, and like Into the Spider-Verse showed us Brooklyn, and I want to just get to know these streets. And I would love to see like Wonder Man and She-Hulk and some of these other titles define the West Coast Avengers.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really fun.
Especially since they filmed in New York, and this wasn't Atlanta for New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not filming in a different city. You're in New York. Let's give it some lifeblood. Let's make it feel real. My question is like, why? Whose radar is he on to be on the Avengers? Right?
Yeah.
It seems like Sam Wilson is going to be reforming the Avengers. Does Sam Wilson care about a blind dude in New York that fights people? I guess they don't know Daredevil's blind.
Yeah.
So
I just know he's a guy.
it would be interesting to. I think the fun thing to predict on this show would be someone like going to meet him, not to invite him to the Avengers, to be like, what are you all about? You're a vigilante. You're a problem. Do they see Daredevil as like a problem or like a solution? Does Jennifer Walters talk to her cousin and say like, hey, I banged this dude and he's got some abilities as a fighter.
Well, Banner's met him at the family barbecue.
Oh, that's right. Banner has met him. But I don't know if Banner knows that he's Daredevil.
Yeah, he just knows that he's an attorney, I would imagine.
And that he has abilities, but as a lover, not a fighter.
It's true. He's not blind in the sack, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, someone like even me, like a fun cameo of like Val going to talk to this dude and being like, actually, you're not for me.
I just want something to tie into Thunderbolts. I think that could be really fun, whether it's Val or Congressman Bucky, because they are presumably in his congressional district.
Oh, that's true.
We've already had, Florence Pugh show up on Disney Plus shows. If we consider Hawkeye part of the same
Hawkeye talking to him would be fun or something.
Or like Kate Bishop or someone from the Hawkeye series, since it was already there was like an overlap with Daredevil, right?
Hawkeye's like, I left my cell phone charger at the hotel in New York. I gotta go back. And, well, I might as well talk to this Daredevil guy.
I mean, we know that there's this party in Thunderbolts where they're at an event kind of memorializing the Battle of New York, and there's all these artifacts there.
Right.
It would be fun if, like, that party is also in this show for whatever reason, and Matt's there too. Never interacts with Val or Bucky, but, like, they're just at the same event. Would be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a power player in New York.
I'm just so excited for the idea that like all the hints that we got to the incident on the Daredevil series, the Battle of New York and the Union Allied, construction development scandal that they were all involved with. That was all an impact from the Battle of New York. And like as these shows, future seasons of Iron Fist and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones started to move away from the MCU timeline as defined in the movies, it felt like that world wasn't as connected anymore. And now we're getting it back to all being part of the same story as it was supposed to be. And it's just really cool to see like now we get to care about the human street level impact of that battle on the people of New York again. And I know Hawkeye did a little bit, but we kind of moved past that. Now we get to see, I want people to still be affected by that.
Maybe Matt goes and does some LARPing in the park with
yeah.
I mean, a storyline where like Mayor Fisk is like, I'm pushing the DODC out of New York. We're going to handle our own damage control. We don't need the, this federal government oversight, which is like seen too much damage to our city. They're not doing anything.
Do we see the cranes over Avengers Tower as it's being turned into the Watchtower?
I mean, that would be great. Yeah. Something like that.
That's for like people. That's for us. That's for people to see it in the background, not really like super addressable. Like, oh, they're working on it. Yeah. That's sick. All right. Final super chats here before we wrap up. MF saying, how much courtroom action are we getting?
Not enough.
Not enough. Yeah. Great point. Not enough.
Alex, it would be fun to see like Matt failing at his job because he's balancing work and vigilantism. It's like it's starting to really affect his like courtroom stuff. Because like if you got closing arguments the next day, do you go out that night patrolling the streets?
I mean that was we saw that in Daredevil season 2.
Yeah, it like really affected his work.
Yeah. Alex B saying, do we think Heroes for Hire is teased at some point this season? Yeah, I think maybe. I think that there's a possibility of them like setting up another group of people, whether it is like the characters from Defenders with a new name or something else.
I mean, it is a fun way to establish where they've been. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If they do tease them at the end of this season, not the idea that they've just been sitting around twiddling their thumbs. It's like, no, we've been the Heroes for Hire, and you just haven't made a show about us. But we've been working this whole time.
Jack Johnston saying, what's up, Breakroom crew? I, for one, am so curious how White Tiger will be used in this show. And yes, Evan, I love me some banana pancakes. Beat us to the punch already. White Tiger, that the actor unfortunately passed away, last year from cancer. But it will be interesting to see how they utilize his character. Seems like I wonder if it'll be like starts off as more of like villainous, or then is like more here, or is if he's just doing things in lieu of Daredevil not being a hero. You know?
Yeah, I think he'll just be in like 1 or 2 episodes, I would imagine. But there's so much we don't really know about the show, and I don't really have any theories yet.
Yeah, and I think seeing the how he looks in costume is, I think there was like a paparazzi photo being like White Tiger on set in Daredevil, and I think that was just a furry. And not White Tiger.
Not the actual one.
Evan, Omar Laura saying, Evan, 1 hour stand-up special when? Not even kidding.
Hold on.
That should be
that's not on there. Just reading compliments. You've written here, so I'd watch
I wrote that super chat question into the script. Crazy. Oh my god.
It's a good name for the special. Not even kidding.
Not even kidding. Not Evan kidding.
Not
Evan kidding.
We did it, guys.
There it is.
Even Dash.
Not Evan kidding.
And I'm not even kidding that this is the end of today's episode. That's it for us today. Make sure to subscribe to the Breakroom channel on YouTube if you aren't already. Give us a follow on Twitch where we do videos like this live. Follow Breakroom NR on Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and X. We'll catch you later. See ya.
Bye.